Scandal time.
Amy, thank you so much for coming over. I really appreciate it.
There's a lot to talk about. It's been a stressful week.
Oh my God.
I haven't gotten anything done, and we need to hash it out so that we can move forward.
Yeah. What has this week been like for you these last 7 days?
A lot of phone time, a lot of screen time, so many texts,
Mm-hmm.
getting communications from people I haven't talked to in years.
Right. Are they Vanderpump fans?
Yes.
Okay.
But people really wanted to know the tea. They wanted to know my opinion, but obviously, as you know, we saw some shit go down.
Yeah, that's really why I wanted to talk about this with you, because you and I together were at TomTom the night that this all happened, which I think is we could have never known how instrumental we were in Bravo history. Do you think that's true?
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, in like the canon of events, besides maybe, I don't know, Scary Island or like the Kim and Kyle limo.
Oh yeah.
Like we were inside one of the biggest nights in Bravo history.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, and we would have never imagined it. I mean, I didn't think they were filming. I almost knew they weren't filming.
I'm going to be honest. I didn't even want to go that night because I didn't want to drink, because I've been drinking a lot lately. And I was like, if I go to a Vanderpump restaurant, I know what's going to happen. Like I get turned at the Vanderpump restaurants.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to go because our friend Lindsay wanted to go and she just had a baby. And I was like, if she's going to go, I got to go because she wants to have a night out. And I drove there so that I would remain sober.
Yeah. That was to keep you committed to being.
Yeah, because I don't mess around.
Yeah. And then you ended up getting really drunk and driving home.
Crashed into Villa Rosa.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
No, I had one cocktail and one Pinot Grigio over the course of like 5 hours.
Yeah.
And now I know why God wanted me sober, so that I could remember the details.
And it allowed us, Megan and I and some other people, it allowed us to let our guard down and be as drunk as we wanted, because we had a sober, wonderful, still clear mind around all of the events. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah, totally. It was meant to be that, we ended up there that night, everybody was there, which is always a great confirmation that like when they're not filming, they're still all together.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, I guess. So take me through the night from your perspective. You drove, you were sober when you drove, you pulled up. I remember you found an amazing parking spot. I think the first meter in front of Tom.
It was incredible. I circled around, and West Hollywood obviously is a parking nightmare.
And for people who don't know West Hollywood, imagine the worst parking in the world. I mean,
it's horrible.
You can't park there.
No, like every single bar and restaurant has valet. So like for like a 3-mile radius, it's like $20+ to park. And there are meters, but a lot of them are cut off at a certain point because of the valet.
The parking garages, I don't even think I've been to a parking garage there, but they are so expensive. I mean, going to a parking garage almost isn't an option.
Yeah, it's like a nightmare. But I circled around and I was about to give up because I had gone around like twice. And the second...
So 2 times fully around?
Yeah, like around, like down to like
Robertson.
Yeah,
and then
like
you went to the first
through,
block.
Yeah,
the first block you could to take a right.
Yeah, okay. So it's like a full.
And then there's those
circle.
kind of spots. What's that? Horizontal spots that you can sometimes get that are.
Yeah.
I think they're paid.
Yeah.
But it's not that expensive. But those were all taken.
Yeah. And so then I pulled up and I just did a slow roll past and I saw the very first meter literally.
Oh my
we'll
God.
post a photo somewhere, but it's like underneath the TomTom sign.
Had somebody just left the spot in front of you?
I didn't see them leave. So had been a second at least. And I assumed it was like off limits.
Of course.
But
That's what you would think. I
triple checked the sign and it was right there. And then I saw later in the night when I came out to feed the meter that Ken and Lisa had parked directly behind me.
My God.
So that's how you know it's the cream of the crop parking spot.
And they usually would probably leave that reserved for Ken and Lisa, you would think?
Probably. Yeah, because they were in like a no man's land zone.
Unless they just tow cars that park there. And
they have like a wink deal with the valet, I think, where they're just like, because it's like a Rolls Royce. So I think they, how valets always like show off the sexy cars, like they like leave them out.
Well, actually, I'm new to valet experiences.
I refuse to valet.
Yeah, we did for the first time in my life. We were with a person named Josh in the car, and he goes, "Why the hell don't we just valet?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" I go, I didn't even think of that as a concept. And it was $25, and he's like, splitting that 4 ways, it's not that big of a deal.
It's true.
Like, yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, anyway. I just never have cash, et cetera, et cetera. But, you know, but Ubering from where we live to West Hollywood sucks. It's really far.
There are a lot of, like, I'm just from an outside perspective, there are a lot of signs that led up to you being there that night.
Yeah.
You didn't want to go.
A lot of green lights.
Yeah. A lot of green lights. You didn't want to go, and then you decided you wanted to go. You wanted to remain sober, which ended up being the best decision you ever made. You found a spot right in front of Ken and Lisa's. That's where Ken and Lisa parked.
Yeah.
And you parked in front of them.
Yeah.
And then you just had carte blanche for the rest of the night to witness all of this stuff.
It was incredible. Yeah, so you guys were already there. You guys got there a little bit earlier, and you had ordered some drinks already.
Yeah, so I valeted $25, but split 4 ways, who cares? We got up, and I said to the host stand, I said, you know, we have a table for however many it was, 8 or 7 or something. They go, oh, yeah, we'll get you to your table right away. They didn't even ask for our whole party to be there, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
It also wasn't busy. There was no line yet. I was like, is this actually even happening? Because there was just no one inside Sir at that point.
Yeah.
But we got led back to our table. We ordered as many drinks as we could, you know, because we, like I said, you know, we wanted to just be completely drunk out of our minds. We started ordering appetizers, and that's when you arrived. Mm-hmm. And then our table ended up not being at all advantageous to watching either of the show.
It was actually maybe the worst possible table.
We were behind the screen, and we were next to the green room where people did not give a shit about even being there. It's where people who are associated with the band were just sitting on their phones. Like the energy back there was horrendous.
The groupies.
Yeah, it was horrendous energy back there. And then I kept telling everyone, and I was like, I think they're going to play it this way, and then we can just go into this green room and watch it or whatever. And then all of a sudden we heard the Vanderpump Rules theme song, and we're like, oh my God, what the hell is happening? And we all basically left that table to go race over. And then they had the projection facing the full bar on the other side of the bar, which you guys, I don't know if you know TomTom, but there's 2 different sides, and then on the opposite side of where we were sitting, that's where they were screening it. We could have never seen it from our table, so we had to stand up, leave our beautiful spot.
Yeah. I think we were seated out on the original side, and where the action was happening was what they call the garden at TomTom.
Okay, that's
the add-on.
Yeah, Amy, you're right. That has a specific name. I haven't been there since the garden was added, so I remember TomTom as just a 1-lane, one side. What's that called? It was just one area, basically leading from the bar to the back. So I had never seen the garden. Yeah. So that was kind of, I mean, that was the least.
They doubled the space.
That was the least thing I was excited by. I just took that for granted. I was like, this bar is bigger now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay. So then once we were able to start watching, that's when I started seeing, you know, the Vanderpump Rules cast almost everywhere I looked. I could, if I spun around in 360 degrees, there was someone from the Vanderpump Rules. Peter was just by himself at the bar, barely talking to anyone, just basically standing there waiting.
He looked miserable.
He looked so upset. And now, like, you think about it from his perspective, like, James doesn't like him, you know, like, I think, right? Unless, it's just like, he's, I don't know. I don't know what Peter's life must be like, being a peripheral Vanderpump Rules character that people sort of joke about, but he's been on for so long.
I know. I wonder if he was working at Sir before that, or like headed there after, because like every time I've been to Sir, basically ever, he's been there.
Him and Max Todd are staples at Sir. You get a guarantee if you go there to Sir, you almost are guaranteed to get a photo with one of them. Yeah. I think he took the night off. He was like, "Let me go to TomTom, Lisa, please. I want to be a part of this, you know, amazing experience." He had no idea, obviously.
Right. Yeah, and Max was working at TomTom, where he is now the manager.
Which that was confirmed in last week's episode, I think. Lisa says Max is doing such a good job.
He was working his ass off.
Oh,
he was busy.
He was getting getting Lisa a bunch of food. He was getting her drinks. He was bussing tables. He was running around like stressed.
Oh yeah, and it was like a nightmare because the tables like near where the screening was happening were stacked, and like we were so in the way. Like everyone was just so in the way because we wanted to see the screen and the stage.
It was so exactly.
They had to elbow their way through.
And people were so mad when like 6 of us showed up to start watching. It was already crowded, and then we're standing in front of people at the bar who just had prime viewing, you know, experiences, and then we just were interrupting it completely. But that's when we were right behind Lisa. Schwartz came up behind you just to talk
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. This is important. So yeah, we had come over from our table and we're watching the episode, which honestly we were kind of half-ass watching the episode because you couldn't hear anything.
You couldn't watch it.
We were late, and it was like,
and also, why do you want to watch an episode that we can watch again when we're watching the Vanderpump Rules cast,
live.
interact? Yeah, it's like, who cares about this episode?
Yeah. I was standing there, and over my shoulder, Schwartz just starts talking. I don't know who he thought he was talking to. He just kind of just started talking. And he was like, oh, I haven't watched any of the episodes yet this season. And I just like turned over and was like, all right, I'll just engage with this conversation.
I mean, a person is talking
begun.
to you. Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
And I was like, you don't need to watch him. Don't watch him. And he was like, I heard I'm the villain. And, that's classic. And I was like, yeah, you don't need to watch him. And he was like, I've had a tough year. And then he proceeded to list out all of the hardships he's experienced this year. He was like, I've had a hard year. My dad almost died. My brother went to rehab. I got divorced. I almost lost all my money. He said someone else I think he said they had cancer. It was in the hospital or something like that.
Did his dad have cancer, I think?
Well, there was an additional to his dad almost dying. And so I don't know if he was being repetitive or if there was an additional person in his life who's sick. And we were like, oh no. Yeah. And I was like, well, Schwartz and Sandy's is doing great. And he was like, it is doing pretty well. He was like, have you been there? And I was like, yeah, I live over there. It's close to where I live. And he was like, have we met before? And I was like, oh, one time, like when it first opened, and he was like, I am the villain. I didn't remember you.
It's so wild for him to be angry at himself for not remembering someone when he literally meets 100 people anytime he goes out anywhere. He has 100 people asking something from him or taking a photo with him. It's just so funny. I was just thinking that whole time, it's like you got a huge dose of like Schwartz charm.
Oh, absolutely.
He immediately said, oh, I heard I'm the villain this season, which makes you think, oh no, you're not the villain. Yeah. Like, no, that's not how it's being portrayed or whatever. And then he lays down why he could potentially be perceived as a villain, and then you feel bad. It's like that was a crazy like Schwartz moment.
Oh my God, yeah. And I will say I chatted with him at Schwartz and Sandy's. We went like within the first 2 weeks of it opening, and he was there. And I will say, ladies, so much taller than you think.
Oh, yeah.
Lanky fellow. Honestly, so cute. I generally don't really think of him in that way. Like, I'm like, yeah, he's fun. But in person, you're like, oh, he's like a tall drink of water.
No, that was my feeling the entire night. When I saw James, I was like, James is twice as big as I realized. He's tall. He's 6'2".
Yeah.
He's big.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why the show portrays
he seems
them
so
all
scrawny.
As scrawny,
yeah.
or smaller. All of them. They're all huge guys.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense for the modeling of it all.
Yes, right.
But yeah, both times I was like, oh, you're like a cutie patootie. And also like so engaging where he makes you feel special while he's talking to you. And I had a good rapport with him both times where I'll preface I'm in a very long-term and committed relationship.
Right,
but I got the vibe that if
this.
I wanted to, I could like make it happen.
Oh my God, damn, that is wow, that is amazing. Well, and he's a single man. I mean, he's allowed to kiss other people.
But at the same time, he turns around and then you see him talking to like literally dozens of other people all night long, probably making them feel the exact same way.
If you go to Schwartz and Sandy's when Schwartz is there, every single person who goes there would want 1 minute of his time at least, and would want a photo or want him to call someone on their phone, or just you want some time with him if you can get it. And so that's his life when he goes to one of his events or to his own bar.
But he doesn't seem like put out at all. Like there are a lot of sometimes you like want to get a photo with someone or whatever, and they kind of are like, all right, thanks, bye, like please leave. And he like is like down to chat, like he really enjoys it. It seems. Yeah,
I think he is a person who is, grateful that he has fans, and he's grateful for this, this time in his life. And he's not, I think some celebrities probably either get over it or turn numb to it at a certain point. But I feel like Schwartz is still in the place where he's grateful, to his fans. And he knows that they're, how his bread is buttered.
Oh, yeah. And, he just wants to be loved.
Yeah, that's true. There's a little bit of that. I mean, the biggest thing, now that we're getting into it, it's like when we asked James for a photo, like he could not have been nicer to us. Like I felt like he had just taken us to heaven. I saw him walking by. It's always so embarrassing to ask someone for a photo. For me personally, I don't know how you feel. No. It's just embarrassing. You're a little embarrassed that you are asking.
You're like admitting that like you're like a loser kind of like you're like
It's like I want to take a photo with you because I think you are cool. And with James, like I knew how many people wanted his attention. That's what it is. Everyone wants their attention at this time. And then when I had my moment, I just went for it as quick as I could. James, he said, like I said in my TikTok, he said, "Fuck yeah, bro," and he just immediately went to town for our photo. Yeah, it was. He so
like,
nice.
Well, was that before or after the Lisa photo incident?
Well, yeah, that was after. So
okay, so we were already like should have known like what we needed to do regarding like the lighting and the like strategy of the photo.
Well, I have to be honest. The iPhone 13, whatever the hell phone I have, takes the worst night photos I've ever seen. It's not my fault. I used to have a phone. It's not your fault. No one's fault. I used to have a phone that took good photos at night. It had a flash that activated or whatever. Now there's this mode where you have to sit still for 10 seconds. You think Lisa's sitting still for 10 seconds waiting for this thing to form? No, she was I blame it on the phone.
She was a ghost in the night in that photo.
She gave me her time, but she was used to traditional iPhone photos where it happens in 2 seconds. Yeah. She goes, "You got it?"
Yeah.
And then ran out of there, which, so I kind of blame Apple.
Oh, absolutely. Tim Cook, I'm calling.
Tim Cook. The iPhone 13 takes horrendous, and maybe 14, takes horrendous night photos. I took photos last night at Shorts and Sandy's of me and my friends hanging out, and they look so bad. I'm just going to show you one. It's obviously visual, but you just have to see how bad these photos look. Hold on, look at this photo. Like, imagine having a photo on your phone. This phone is not that old. Doesn't it look just horrendous?
It's like, what time is it? Like, what? You guys look AI.
Yeah, anyway. So that was a drop. That was a reason why that Lisa photo wasn't as good.
Yeah, so that photo was a flop, but it's a funny story because the photo ultimately is funny
and
because
you can
of
tell
how bad
enough that it's Lisa, but you can just see it's Lisa in motion, you know?
Yeah. But when we asked James, or you asked James rather, he sprung into action. He threw up his phone overhead for like ambient lighting.
So I had said, I don't know if you heard this. I said, "James, this photo is going to look like shit," because I had just gone on night mode on all these other photos, and he goes, "No, it's not, bro." And then that's when he lit his flash to make our photo better. It was like he's done this a million times.
Oh my God. And he's doing like a full blue steel.
Oh, he looked.
And like he's like the light is like straight from over him. So
I didn't know he took photos like that.
Down upon him, and it's honestly gorgeous.
What kind of face? Like, I know you said blue steel, but like, what is he doing to make himself look like that? Like,
oh my
stern,
God. Yeah, it's like
sucked in cheeks a little bit.
It's like the buccal fat removal like pose.
Yeah, he looked great, and he looked like, I look like such a troll in that photo. And
I was like popped in from the side. You go, "Can my friend Amy pop in?" And he was like, "Hi, Amy."
And then he just knows what to do. He's like, "I'm gonna look good in this photo. I know where to aim my face. I know where the light should be. I look good." It
was a great experience. He clearly loved it. He was not upset at all. He wanted people to ask who he was, and we observed a situation where these women flopped their opportunity so badly.
Yeah, you say that.
They were older, maybe middle-aged women. There were actually a lot of sort of like older women there, which I guess isn't uncommon with the Vanderpump restaurants. The Bravo fan is maybe a woman of a certain age.
Maybe they're more Real Housewives, and Vanderpump is not appointment viewing for them. It's more casual.
Yeah, there were these women that they got James's attention, and he was giving them his time.
Yes.
And one of the women goes, she said either, "Who are you?" or "What's your name?"
Oh,
and he was like, "I'm James," and left.
Oh my God. If you're going to take a photo with someone, you have to know who they are. You can't just go in blind like that.
I felt really bad for him, actually. I was like, that's like embarrassing. Like, that like sucks.
But that also probably happens 10% of the time, where people just know you're a celebrity, but they don't know who you are, and they ask if they can take a photo with you, and they guess or whatever.
I hate that.
Me too. Yeah. I mean, we said to those women, we said, "You both flopped."
Get out.
We said, "Get out."
You're taking up precious space.
I said, "How the hell did you not know who that was? That's James." And then that's when he sort of did a backtrack and came over, and then we validated his self-esteem by saying, "Please, for the love of God, James, take a photo with us."
And during all of this, Billy Lee was floating through the bar, not getting much attention.
Yeah. You want to say it?
I mean,
I'll take a bullet on this one. Billy Lee. feel bad saying it, but Billie Lee had a urgency about her where it seemed like she was walking from point A to point B to point C with no
takers.
With no takers, but also no agenda. It didn't look like when she went to the place where she went, there was a purpose for why she had gone there. It was
no.
It was very like
it was giving like when you go to a party and you don't know anyone, like you're like maybe go with a friend or something, and you're just like on your phone and you're just like fuck, like
and you're like a baby outside will be better. I'll try my luck out there. Like you don't have your group yet at a party, and you're just kind of going back and forth. Billie gave off that energy very dramatically.
So it's like she didn't really have a moment with. Like Schwartz was mingling, James was mingling, Kristen was there. I don't know if we mentioned that yet. Kristen was over at the other side of the bar where Peter was with her boyfriend.
And I'll just say about Kristen, since we're on the topic. Well, first off, she has fully verified everything that we're talking about right now because she was there and she just had her podcast episode. But also, I noticed that Kristen was a little uncomfortable around fans. I saw it in her eyes, and she kind of made this cringe as she was walking through the audience. I knew that she didn't want her photo taken, so normally that's the rarest photo, and I don't have a photo with Kristen, but I did what I felt
the
was
rare
right.
Pokemon.
I want a photo with Kristen so bad.
You have Jax though, which I think is maybe the goat.
Jax is like
that's really good.
And the Jax photo came at a non-Bravo event. It was just at the Abbey. Megan and I had just been pretending to dance next to their party for so long. Like we look like two people that are just we look like Billie Lee. We'd go from point A to point B, pretending we had some sort of thing that we were doing. But then finally, at the end of the night, Megan was like, "We can't stay here much longer. Nothing is going to happen next in this night." And I just went for it. I go, "Jax, will you please take a photo with us?" And he goes, "Yeah, dude." He was so excited.
Do we think he was on a little something?
Well, yeah, I mean, I actually do not know, but I'll just say he seemed like he was tipsy. He seemed happy. If you've seen that photo, his eyes were bright and he was so nice to me. And I think I've already told you, but my mom has gotten a photo with him. He was so nice to her. She didn't know how to work her phone. She was flopping like a fish, trying to get her phone to work. And he goes, "Let me take that for you." And my mom said something like, "Oh, I don't think you want to take a photo with an old woman like me." And he goes, "You're beautiful." He said it to my mom.
Jax Taylor charm.
I think I can't not like someone who would say that to my mom. You know?
Yeah, that's great.
It's just hard. But anyway, so Kristen didn't want that photo. I knew it. Even though I would have killed for a Kristen.
She was definitely like staying out of the mix. Like we were saying, there were two sections of the bar. One was packed, the other was really empty, and Kristen stayed on the empty side the entire night. She was probably there for at least 2+ hours.
She was pulling a Peter where she was removed, but Peter had a look of, "I don't mind if you want to take a photo with me."
Yeah.
And Kristen had a look of, "I do not want photos," because she hadn't been, and I just learned from the podcast, she doesn't go to, Vanderpump events very, very much. And she's been out of the universe. She doesn't even watch VPR, she said. And I kind of trust her. She sounds pretty trustworthy on that podcast. But anyway, but right before Kristen, what were we saying about who else was in attendance?
I'm imagining us in the mix is around when we got our photo with James.
Oh, yeah, but then I just wanted to say that the undercurrent of this whole thing is that the vibe is fun and happy and jubilant for us, for fans. It was as good as you can get in terms of being a VPR fan, in terms of our interactions.
There were like 10 cast there.
Yeah.
That's huge.
10 cast. Even
outside
Scandoval,
of like Pride.
Yeah.
That's like, or BravoCon. Like,
yeah, you can't get much better than that.
No.
For a non-filmed event, this was a big deal.
Which is even better when it's not being filmed, because when it's being filmed, you feel even more in the way.
Yeah.
And there's like a lot going on, and like they're kind of doing their thing. And I'm sensitive to production.
Me too.
Like we've worked in that industry. We know. I'm like, I don't want to like mess up or get in the way of what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Also, it's like like I felt this way when I went to Pride like 4 years ago. Like I didn't want to blow a shot or something because I watched this show as a viewer, and why would I want to like ruin something about it? You know, like they're making what I love so much, so I'm not going to get in the way.
Yeah. I remember one time when I was at Pride, I think it was like It was whatever the year that it was like 80s themed, maybe like just pre-COVID, like the year before or something. But when the producers at SUR always hang out in that little.
You went to that one?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so awesome.
The area where like there's like those like distressed antique doors that separate like the two sections.
Oh yeah.
There's like a little part in the middle where like I think where the merch is, where production has like.
Wait, is that between Pump and SUR?
It's like in SUR.
Oh, okay. The distressed doors.
It's like there's just.
Oh, I think
it's
I
like
know
a
what you're
middle
talking about. Yeah,
room.
yeah.
And they have their whatever you call it, like production quarters.
Wow.
Like all crammed in there, and I saw a producer come out, and I was like, "You're doing God's work. Thank you so much."
Did they say anything back?
They kind of laughed. They were like, "Thank you."
I always love when you see the producers and like PAs and stuff, and like they're all in black. Like whenever a camera goes, too far to the right, and you see a production person, and it's like they're just like total classic production people. Like for some reason I expect the crew to also be Vanderpump freaks that are dressed like James Kennedy and like dressed like Tom Sandoval, like eccentric documentarians or whatever, but they're just the most classic crew members you could ever see in your life. They're just like, they don't give a shit. They just want to get the job done. They all have their mics.
Such a long day.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's probably like, I don't know. I mean, my dream of course would be to work on Vanderpump Rules as a crew member. I mean, could you imagine?
That would be amazing, but also like I have like a firm boundary between what I love and what I do. Like I'm like, I want it to be presented on a platter, like finished.
You don't want to know.
Like, I don't even honestly, like, maybe I'll have to change this, but like, I don't follow any of them on Instagram, which now I've had to check so many times because of what we will go on to talk about.
Yeah.
But I don't even follow housewives or VPR heads on social because I want it to play out.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see.
I think I have now, I'm the opposite. I follow all of them, and I even have notifications turned on now because I want to know what Sheena posts. Like, just now. I want to know what's going on.
Maybe we can head into this Scandoval.
Yeah.
It's now been called.
Yeah, I mean, we set a scene that was, like, beautiful and fun and chaotic, but...
Things took a turn.
This was a dark night.
Oh, yeah.
Not to us at the time, not to us when we went home and fell asleep.
We had no idea.
I had the best dreams that night. I was like, nothing. I said to myself, Vanderpump Rules is perfect and nothing is wrong in the Vanderpump Rules world.
Yeah, slept like a baby. I didn't have
you weren't drunk.
I wasn't drunk. I slept
was
like
drunk.
An angel. I think my sleep score, according to my Fitbit, was like an 89.
Whoa.
It was
like, hold on, let me
fantastic.
see. Yeah. I'm looking at mine. Mine was a 47. It said you woke up 4 times in the night. I had to go to the bathroom a bunch of times. I barfed, but I slept so good. I had beautiful dreams. I go, nothing about that night is ever going to change. Yeah. I said that. And
it's locked in.
I woke up like I said a million times. I go, Megan, I go, nothing is ever going to happen to my memory of that night. And then Thursday, nothing happened.
No.
It was like I think we were texting. We talked about how much fun it was, but it was a fun night, but it had no meaning other than how much fun we had.
Yeah, we were like, wow, great. Like, so glad we did that. What a memory for the books. We got a couple great photos.
That was a good one. It's like that's not even going to be on the show. Nothing about that night has any merit on the next season. We got to see people in their transitionary period between seasons, but no drama had happened that makes you think any different about the season. So Thursday was just like coasting on good feelings.
Yes.
But then what happened
it was like 11, it was maybe noon
on Friday.
Yeah, because I had flown to Vegas Friday morning.
Oh my God, you have a completely different perspective on this whole thing. You were busy.
My flight was like 10:30 a.m. and so we landed like an hour later.
Did you put do not disturb on, or did you have Wi-Fi?
Well, this story broke once we had landed.
Okay.
We were in an Uber on the way to the Wynn Hotel.
Okay.
And I opened my phone, and actually Tracy Morrissey, great follow. She's like a former Jezebel writer who has great celeb commentary.
Okay.
Posted a screenshot of the TMZ article.
Oh, where on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing you see when you load in Instagram was that.
Yeah. and I like screamed.
I was just imagining that you turn do not disturb off, or it's like, or the pilot, is like, please,
Go airplane mode.
Yeah, but then he's like, you may resume, having internet again, or whatever they say as you're landing, and then all of a sudden, like, all of these updates start popping up, and the pilot's like, I am so sorry, everyone.
We have to make an emergency landing.
We have to go back to LA as soon as possible. I am sorry.
I'm not landing this plane.
I hope we have enough fuel to get us back to LA because this is crazy right now. But okay, so you didn't learn it like that. You learned from someone you follow on Instagram. It's just a screenshot of that now iconic TMZ screenshot. Tom looks weird. Raquel looks weird. Yeah. Ariana looks like phased. They got him at like some strange moments. Yeah. Like those are all like prior paparazzi photos that they're just, but it made it seem even darker and weirder. I was like, who are these people? They didn't use like the, like a cool photo of Tom.
Right.
It was like, whoa. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is so dark.
They kind of did them dirty, and my brain couldn't compute it. Like,
oh yeah.
I was so confused. I go,
does TMZ not know the Toms? Like,
totally.
Are you that stupid?
I know. I was like, no, the storyline is the other Tom, you fools.
And first of all, I was like, oh, obviously a rumor, obviously gossip, obviously this is like, we'll find out this is fake in 10 minutes. It's like when they said Kim Jong-un died. They still don't say that isn't true.
Right.
They reported it. I was like, this is not going to be true. And then it just... everything started happening the minute that it came out. James Kennedy was talking about it.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
It instantly got verified by the cast.
Yeah.
Right. Like they didn't. Yeah. They just added more fuel to it, basically. Like who else? It was like immediately verified by James.
Yeah. James was popping off immediately.
Ariana deactivated her account.
Yeah. Her brother, Ariana's brother, started posting like comments about like. I think talking shit on Raquel.
He had that statement like fired up. Like he had a long-winded post about the evil Bravo universe. Like he had it ready to go.
Yeah.
Like, right? That happened that was like an hour after the news broke. He was like ready.
Yeah. I was like, so yeah, we
oh right, you're in Vegas. I mean, you're supposed to be having fun.
Well, yeah, but luckily, like most of the people I was with were equally freaking out. Like everyone, I was with like.
What was the percentage?
I think it was like there were 6 of us, and like 4.
Okay, that's a good ratio.
4 really cared, but 3 like really cared. So at least half, and then there's one that we've been educating this season, so they knew what we were talking about.
So they still had fun.
Yeah, and then the other 2 were like, "What the hell?" But by the end of the weekend,
no one was.
But I think there was maybe by the end of brunch, they were like, "Are we ever going to talk about anything else?" And we were like, "No."
The 2 people who sort of weren't invested as much were like,
they were like
take the whole weekend.
Yeah, like because we just every time we opened our phones, there was something new.
Yes, it was like. She knows that Watch What Happens Live. There was instantly a rumor about that.
Yeah.
I don't even remember now all of the updates. Like it was just it wouldn't stop. Like
no,
it
was a total whirlwind, like insanity.
I'm glad you had a support system there, because could you imagine if you had gone to Vegas and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm the only Vanderpump Rules fan, and you just had to you would have had to let it go.
Yeah, it would be horrible.
Right? Like you couldn't have just been the
I think I would have excused myself.
Yeah, I mean, do you think you would have? Like maybe done a half an hour where you said, I'm going to go up to the hotel room and just sort of take a shower.
So. I think I would. Yeah, I would.
But so you did have a good scenario. I mean, 4 out of 6 is good.
Yeah, it was mostly just like stressful being like outside of my house where I couldn't have like a laptop and like.
Yeah, right. Because I was like suited up here. I was like. TV was on, CNN was on, phone, I started recording, like it was, I was in the, what's that called? Like I was in the action station.
Yeah.
Like I was ready for it.
The war room.
Yeah, war room. But so I feel bad for you, but it could have been worse.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. You were with at least
it was
DVR
good.
freaks.
And like we did have the intention of the next day going to Vanderpump, what is it? La Paris.
I wasn't even aware of that. I mean, I'm bad on my Lisa hotspots, but I didn't know she had opened another place.
Yeah, because I've been to the cocktail garden
yeah,
at Caesars, which is fine, but
I had a bad experience there.
You did.
Can I just be fully honest?
Yeah.
We went there. Obviously, no one is there from the show. I think maybe that one Sheena doppelganger that had 2 lines.
Oh, right.
No one was there. We took 2 friends who are not Bravo obsessed, so it was just Megan and I basically making the case for this place. We sat down, we ordered drinks, and I think they didn't send our drinks for 40 minutes.
Oh my God.
And within 35 minutes, the mood had completely shifted. We'd all sobered up. It wasn't fun. We were sitting outside. And we said, let's leave without even paying. And so we didn't even get a drink there. It was just, and it wasn't even that busy. It was just bad service. But I love Lisa. I love TomTom. I love everything she's ever done. But I had a personal bad experience there.
Yeah.
But then you had a good experience at.
Oh, yes. So yeah, we ended up at Vanderpump La Paris at the Paris Hotel, which the Paris Hotel itself is honestly like kind of a dump.
Yeah, I've never been to the Paris Hotel. It's not even one that I've even like thought about going to. Which
I don't really know why it's so crappy, because it opened around, in my memory, the same time as like the Venetian and like
they
the
just
Palazzo.
Let it go to
and yeah, they just haven't maintained it, because the Venetian is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Still.
The Cosmo is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Or the last time I checked, it was.
Yeah.
Caesars is so fun. I've never stayed in a hotel room there.
I think Caesars is well maintained. It's huge though, so there might be like crappy wings. I'm not sure.
One time I stayed, this is a very quick aside, but one time I stayed at the Flamingo room, and we had like 8 people to one room just to make it cheap, and we pushed the beds together so we could all sleep in a big bed at the same time, and there was so much garbage and dust and disgusting shit under the beds. I was like, oh my God, you guys have never cleaned under the beds here. Anyway, sorry. Flamingo room.
That's not what you want to see.
No, not at all. So, but Paris was a dump. You stayed at Paris?
We did not stay at Paris.
Okay.
So we started off... as I said earlier, we were en route to the Wynn, but we only went to the Wynn for the buffet, which for anyone listening...
But they go to the Wynn a lot, I think, in early Beverly Hills, don't they?
I'm trying to remember, where do they stay during the, like...
You're
such a fucking liar, Camille.
There's so much Vegas because Maloof has...
the Palms.
Oh, is it the Palms?
She's the Palms.
Okay. And then Lisa tries to get them to... I don't remember the drama.
Does the Palms even exist anymore?
I have no clue.
But yeah, so we went to the Wynn buffet, which is always what we do because it's the best buffet in Vegas.
Okay.
Get shrimp and crab legs first.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Just start with that?
In my opinion, like, I don't want to eat carbs at a buffet that I paid $50 for.
Because they're just filling you up with that
absolutely
stuff.
Not. I want like the highest price items at the buffet.
Do you so you're saying just start with that first.
Get as much as you can of the high ticket items.
So are you officially saying that Wynn is the best buffet in town?
I confidently tell everyone that.
I'm just so glad that there is something that of consequence that people can listen to this right now and just know that if they went to Vegas, which people will in their lives, Wynn buffet is certified the best, and I trust you, and everybody should trust
I say
you.
it with absolute confidence, and
I went to the Flamingo room buffet. It was never mind.
I would recommend the bottomless brunch.
Okay, bottomless brunch. How much are we talking?
So it's like, I think it's like $50 for the regular brunch, and then it's like $30 for the bottomless. But if you hang out for like 2+ hours, I would recommend getting like mimosas, because if you're ordering cocktail by cocktail, you're not going to get your money's worth because they don't come around often enough. You got to just ask for the bottles.
Okay.
Just say
so it's $50 for the buffet and $30 for bottomless.
Yeah, so it's like
mimosas?
$80 total.
But is it bottomless mimosas?
It's like not just mimosas, it's like cocktails too.
And how often are they giving you those cocktails?
I mean, it was a little hard to get a hold of them for the cocktails, which is why I say just stick with the mimosas, and then you have a bottle on the table at all times.
Of
because
champagne.
Every time you ask for another bottle, they'll give it to you.
Okay.
So it's like I was ordering a bottle every time I saw the waiter rather than a cocktail.
You're like, come on, bring the bottle. Like, this is bottomless.
And then like I'd be like, can we get more orange juice and the little like thing?
Yeah. Okay. So, and that's an easy thing for them to like take care of you. It's just 2 things to refill.
Which like in Vegas, like every drink is costing you, like outside of that environment, like $20.
Right. Oh, so everywhere. Yeah. Even a little like hole in the wall next to all the slot machines called Gary's Den. They serve $25 beers. It's like you can't get anything cheap.
Yeah. So you know,
I was just gonna ask what what was the mood like at the Wynn Buffet? Because I know it's probably usually exuberant.
Great energy. Yeah, we got there at like 12:30 p.m.
Was the same day? The day
yes.
that this happened?
Yeah, we went straight from the airport with our suitcases to the Wynn Buffet.
Okay.
Which is usually how we start because our room won't be ready yet, so we'll just go to the Wynn Buffet. So it was great energy. We were getting our Vanderpump updates.
So they weren't affected?
Not that I could see.
Do you think it took a little bit of lag time between LA and Vegas for them to sort of get the news?
Yeah, maybe like everyone else was like too busy at like the shrimp bar.
Also Vegas is sort of, they make it their mission to sort of cut you off from the rest of the world. So you're just spending money.
It's blue skies overhead always.
No windows.
Yeah.
They don't want you to have Wi-Fi.
No.
They don't want you to do what you were doing.
Everyone there was still in where we were Wednesday night.
Oh, right. This is still, they've been eating there for days.
Yeah, it's like the Overlook Hotel.
So it hadn't, exactly. So it hadn't affected them yet.
I hadn't seen it trickle through.
Okay.
But should we maybe should I go forward to the Vanderpump La Paris before the Scandoval?
No, I think a scandal happens because people don't even know when this scandal happened. And so I like that we know where we are in the timeline on Friday of when this news rocked us to our core, and then it makes us look back on that night that I said we both slept like babies. I slept like I slept horrible, but due to drinking. But you slept good. You said you had an 80 Fitbit score. We that night seemed amazing, but then Friday you look at it through our eyes again with this new light, and we saw Ariana cheering and being so boisterous and having so much fun in front of, while Tom Sandoval was performing with his band. She was as hyped up as you can be for a band she's probably seen 100 times to a person she sees 1,000,000 times. She was hyping him up like the best you could ever do. Like just standing being so sweet, so supportive. And there was rumors that she like ran up on stage and crashed into the drum kit or whatever.
Yeah.
There was so much misinformation because people were just capitalizing on what we didn't know and trying to insert fake narratives. There was that whole horrific Patrick Summers thing, which I can't even believe I thought for 1 second was true. He just faked a bunch of messages to get clout for one day.
Yeah.
Anyway, people were preying on people who don't have information. We have information.
We were there.
We were there.
We couldn't be lied to. We saw what we saw.
Yeah. And so this is not our story, but we know from the two people that were there that people were wondering where Ariana was. Kristen just confirmed that she didn't know where Ariana was. You have to listen to her podcast. She was there that night, but all of a sudden, Ariana was gone after the performance. My wife and Lindsay, our friend, were in the bathroom. And, I mean, is it okay to say, I mean, because this is now public domain, this controversy. I mean, she was in the bathroom. And they thought she was acting erratic, but they thought maybe it was chaotic drunk, or they didn't know. But her mood seemed a little off.
Yeah, I think so. I had seen, so when we had transitioned from the back of the restaurant to the front, at one point I realized we were never going back to that table, so I went to get my jacket.
That table was a dead zone.
Right.
Nothing was over there. Well, Schwartz was hanging back there, and it was actually a good spot if one of the cast members went back there because you kind of get him alone, but there was no energy back there. It was.
So I went to go get my jacket to get out of that area for the rest of the night, and I saw Ariana there standing to the side of the stage. Oh, I guess Well,
there's a huge divide in Vanderpump Rules where Schwartz and Katie call her Ariana. Sandoval says Ariana, and I think she says Ariana.
I think it is Ariana, but...
I know, but there's just a divide in how you say that name. Schwartz and Katie have known her for 10 years, and they still say Ariana. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, that is interesting.
Okay,
I didn't even realize. I saw Ariana. Which I honestly hadn't noticed her until that point. Like, you have footage of her from the concert
Standing
portion.
Yep.
But I was a little less engaged with the concert than you.
Oh, yeah. So you didn't really watch
So I didn't, see her. So when I saw her back there, I was like, she is here.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know she was there.
Mm-hmm.
And when I passed by her next to the stage, she was kind of ranting.
Whoa.
She was kind of very, she has big physicality. She was sort of I can see hunching over and using her hands and was saying, Tom's phone, like he dropped his phone, or like he lost his phone, it's on his phone, or something like that.
Insane.
And I was like, bitch is crazy. Like, I'm like, she's always like this. Like, and I just literally walked on past and came back to you guys and was like, Ariana is here, which you already knew, but I didn't.
Well, it's okay. We were all giving each other the download the entire time.
And I think we even maybe at that point tried to go back there because Schwartz was back there, and we were hoping for a photo.
It was a
and
good
then
Schwartz time.
We realized that it wasn't going to happen, so we left.
And also, my ego was so crippled by the Ken flop and the Lisa flop, like I couldn't take any more rejection. But I just wanted to insert that Kristen now has also verified this
everything,
because we didn't know how Ariana found it on the phone. Kristen just said Ariana felt like something was off, and when she had his phone, she just decided to do a little look
search
at it and saw a text that was suggestive, odd, and then went into his camera roll and saw.
And we think the story that you were about to tell, which we think this was where she was reviewing the phones.
Yes. So in the bathroom next to my wife and Lindsay, they noticed that a sort of chaotic Ariana came out of the bathroom.
She burst out of the stall, never having like flushed or peed because they didn't know that anyone was in there because no one was making any noise.
Yeah, they had their ear to the door. They couldn't hear any peeing. They couldn't hear any noises at all. But so she was just silently
up to the door.
Yeah, they brought a cup with them into the bathroom. But then she, just like you said, she barged out.
Yeah.
And we didn't know at this point that these signs were really...
We were just like, she's crazy. Like, she's always, like, kind of kooky when she's drinking,
right,
you know?
That's when, like, twerking happens. Yeah. That's when loud energy happens. Like, she can turn on the fun persona. And so I chalked it up to that.
Yeah.
And then Kristen said that, you know, that she found that accounts for her in the bathroom. She was reviewing when they couldn't find her. That's what she was doing. She was in that stall right next to our people. And then... Tom's phone, she's ranting to people that this had just happened, and then they were gone. They were out of there.
Yeah. Like when I was in, I think this was still on Friday, or maybe it was Saturday, whenever the first news came out that she had seen something on the phone, I was like, I heard her talking about Tom's phone. That's the only thing I heard her say was Tom's phone, dropped his phone, his phone. So like I heard that, like I had that information.
Tom's phone, there's so many millions of ways that
like
could be
whatever.
Yeah,
I was like, whatever.
He dropped his phone. He cracked his phone. Anything.
And
his phone was stolen.
My boyfriend Jimmy goes, I bet that's what she was doing in the stall.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's absolutely correct.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to toot our own horns like on this episode, but we are investigative journalists. We have pieced together all of the narratives that have formed around. I was taken in by a lot of misinformation at first, but now we've solidified around what happened, and we were there to report it. And, you know, I think page 6 was there at that big table to the right of us because all of the footage and audio and everything they have is there. And I just think page 6 was invited to that performance. And so they're just culling through their garbage that they took on their phone and reporting.
Ugh, now I wish I just propped up my phone and just recorded the entire time.
I wish I had one of those lights on your phone that you hook up your phone. And I was just doing a full documentary there that night. But we have
we
enough
wish
footage.
that we were just filming Vanderpump Rules.
Yeah, but they're going to be able to piece it together well from the footage.
Totally.
I think so.
Yeah, I remember specifically thinking I didn't bring my phone with me when I went to grab my jacket because I was like, I'm just going to run past. And then when I saw Ariana in shorts, I was like, I should just fucking brought my phone because then I could have snapped a shot or asked for a photo or something. And I was like, you know, like we said before, I hate asking people for photos even though I do.
I think it's our responsibility now that we have to.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing, but everyone does it.
Yeah.
And
I specifically, I would never bother a real celebrity or an actor or any person of note, but reality stars are outside of that.
Well, I think there are a couple rules though. Not in the bathroom. I don't think anybody wants a selfie next to a stall or by a urinal or whatever.
Yeah.
I think not when they're eating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't want to, I don't know. Yeah, you don't want to be interrupted while you're eating.
Yeah.
There's just certain scenarios.
Yeah,
where,
it's usually when they're especially if it's at a Vanderpump related thing,
they're
then it's
primed
okay, you know what's going to happen when you walk through those doors.
You know, I mean, this is a little bit of gossip, and I love Katie now. I'm Team Katie. I feel like she needs to be reassessed and reevaluated through this whole thing based on her relationship with Schwartz and what she's put up with. But we were at Pride 4 years ago, the one after you mentioned.
Yeah.
And Katie was at Pride, and Megan went up to her as happy as you can be and asked for a photo, and Katie just said, no, I don't take photos. And she's standing at TomTom amidst the chaos of that.
Oh my God.
And so I think that Katie, I don't know her obviously.
Yeah.
But I thought the case was that she knows that fans have sort of a negative perception, especially at that time around the 8th season. It was the doldrums for Katie Love, and I think that she knew that maybe fans didn't have good intentions if they were taking photos with her, or she just had a bad relationship with herself or fans. So I don't say that with any stigma towards her.
Totally.
I think that she just wasn't ready, whereas someone like James, he loves getting his photo taken. He was happy. He had just been denied by those those older women who didn't know him. Yeah. And so it's just, you never know. You never know
the time and place, because I did see that Katie took photos with a fan at Club TG.
Oh my God.
Last week.
Nothing. I mean, I know I'm getting greedy here, but Megan and I were so close to potentially going to Club TG that night. God. I mean, we went to Hermosillo Club instead, or whatever, Hermosillo Lounge. But yeah, it
seems like they go to TG a lot, like to the point where it's maybe more likely to see them there than at Schwartz and Sandy's.
Well,
or
I know
whatever.
what we'll all be doing on Saturday or Friday. We'll go to Club TG and try to get photos.
Yeah, because Ariana was there.
I mean, Club TG is fun for people who are not in LA.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a beautiful dance floor. They play fun music. It looks cool. It honestly looks like a pared down Schwartz and Sandy's, an adapted
like an
dive
authentic,
bar. An authentic dive bar that was elevated. They have great drinks. Like, I can see why they love TG.
Yeah, they have good taste.
So if you ever come to LA and you're listening to this not outside of LA, go to Club TG.
Yeah, at Water Village.
Yeah, go to Hermosillo Club too. Is it called Hermosillo Lounge?
I would just call it the Hermosillo.
The Hermosillo. Yeah. They have this amazing rings game. Have you ever played it?
Oh, is it like with the hook?
It's a ring on a string, which Vanderpump people will love that. It's a ring on a string, so you can pretend that you're Katie getting a ring on a string from Schwartz, and you can swing it around, and it has to land on a hook from really far away. It's really an iconic game.
Yeah,
so.
that's fun.
Yeah, but that's just a little aside.
Yeah. So I guess I'll quickly go into, while we're doing reviews of bars and restaurants.
Please.
Vanderpump La Paris.
Well, so we now know, like we talked about, Friday altered our perception of Wednesday.
Right.
But now we know. And then you're still on your trip.
Yeah.
You're completely on your trip. You're consumed by the news. But now you get a Vanderpump landmark in your...
Exactly. So Saturday night, we didn't have a reservation. There were like 7 of us.
No reservation.
No reservation, which I was a little worried about. But we went on the early side, like 6 p.m.
And they open at 7?
No, when do they open? They might open at 5. We didn't get it together to get there at opening, but we were just going for a drink before dinner. We were getting dinner somewhere else. And so we rolled up. Honestly, I'm just
imagining Lisa listening, and she's like, she'd say, why didn't you want to eat dinner there?
I'm just gonna be honest, like, historically not blown away by the Vanderpump cuisine.
Okay. It's time to be honest, because we're being honest about everything else.
So now we've said it.
And I'm just being honest, but we obviously love these people, and we love Lisa, and we love her restaurant and bars. But this is a call to action for Lisa. For the love of God, make the food at Sir better.
Yeah.
It makes every scene I watch where they're talking about the food and it being mouthwatering, and she's going over to the cuisine with the chefs, and I'm knowing this is dog shit food. It tastes the worst version of it. I mean, I'm being mean, but but is that
it? Like borders on like airport food.
It's bad. The pasta you can't imagine pasta could taste bad. Yeah, you can't imagine pasta tasting bad. You can't imagine how their salmon tastes. It's just she said it in episodes. They don't make their money from food,
right?
But could you please pare down the menu?
Well, also Stassi did us dirty all these years, never stopping talking about the goat cheese balls.
Well, she knew what to do because Lisa loves any compliment. Lisa really started to turn on Stassi when Stassi started denigrating Sir. That's that is the strike against you that
Right.
you can't almost come back from.
When she was like, I did you a favor, like hiring you for all these years. And she was like, you gave me a job serving tables.
She is so unappreciative of Lisa, but Lisa also has over expectations for Stassi's deference to her. They
Right.
both are in a kind of a power struggle there of who needs to honor who.
Right. I do love that whenever there's drama, like over the seasons on Vanderpump, that like if someone is like tempted to quit waitressing or whatever because of the stress of the environment, Lisa's like, you have a great job.
Yeah.
You need to like hold on to this like wonderful position you have.
The fakest thing about Vanderpump Rules, which so much of it is not fake, and these are all dramatic relationships. This drama does happen, but anything revolving around the wait staff at SUR and their shifts and when Sheena's
They're folding
working,
napkins.
Anything like that. The cast has not worked there since season 3 regularly,
Right.
since season 4. I was watching season 7 doing a rewatch, and I'm like, they are still pretending Sandoval and Jax show up to the bar. This is a huge show at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like it's ridiculous. And then the food, no one has ever said that was a great meal I just had.
No.
But TomTom
Specifically,
actually
SUR,
has.
TomTom's okay. It's good.
Yeah, it's a 7 out of 10.
Right.
You're not
like you wouldn't go there like if everything was stripped away from like
hey, you want to head to TomTom's and just grab some dinner?
right. Like no one's doing that. Like
No.
I can imagine like normal people going there without the context of the show. Like for cocktails, like it's on a block where people are going.
The cocktails are great. Clockwork Pink or whatever, it's $17, but that's in the realm of an expensive cocktail.
Yeah.
And it's actually good.
And the environment, like, you know, that's a whole other conversation about the Vanderpump aesthetic and the Nicolaine aesthetic.
Right.
You know, that's a conversation maybe for another day. It's
yeah, right. We barely have time. Like, what the hell?
but
Nicolaine. Let's talk about Nicolaine for a
who
second.
was at Watch What Happens Live
Insane.
last night. But I will say, I think that their finest work yet is the Vanderpump La Prairie.
Really?
It's gorgeous.
Did you get any food?
No.
Okay.
We sat at the bar. They were able to help us. It was a little confusing at first about whether or not we'd be able to get a spot, but then they finally were like, actually,
Was it packed to the rafters?
not, I mean, it was full. It wasn't like, oh my God, like there's so many people here.
Yeah.
But
Thank you.
it was like, you know, it was bustling. It
Okay.
was a good vibe, but it was early, so probably got even more so later.
Right.
But we all sat at the bar. Our friend whose birthday it was ordered the drink they have called "It's My Fucking Birthday,"
Okay.
clearly a reference to Stassi.
Clearly.
Which I believe either Raquel or Lala, I think who was it that ordered it on last night's new episode with crown, the tray with the crown.
Yeah.
It comes on a little tray that has a like bejeweled crown on it, and then the drink itself has a macaroon garnish
Oh my God.
in there. And I was like, that's adorable.
It's wild that they have a tribute to Stassi at this restaurant
I
that is so
know.
not, I mean, it's a Vanderpump restaurant, but a tribute to Stassi.
Totally.
Like, they're honoring
And
her.
the bartender like teed it up, which I think it was Oliver that recommended that drink on the episode, and our bartender recommended it. So they're like pushing that drink.
And it's and remind me, because I don't know what happened, because I was thinking about that macaroon, but what is the actual drink?
I don't know. It's pink, which
Okay.
there were a lot of pink
Tequila,
drinks.
you think?
Yeah, it might have been. It's in like a coupe, like a
What's a coupe
champagne
again?
like cup, like the like
Flute?
champagne, not a flute, but
Okay.
the other one
coupe?
that's like the wide
I'm
one.
going to look up what a coupe is
like
after this.
you know, like the old timey champagne.
And you said it has a
glass.
crumbling macaroon that is floating in the middle of it?
It was protected above on like a
How?
toothpick
Really?
or something.
Oh, so a long toothpick with a macaroon in the middle so that it is on
Above,
Oh, that's
yeah.
amazing. That sounds so cool.
It was great. And then I got a Vanderpump Frosé.
Okay, and that's just what it's called, Vanderpump Rose.
It might have just been Frosé. I don't know if it had Vanderpump on it.
Because that's superfluous,
Right.
right? She doesn't need a title. You know.
Yeah. It was a cocktail of like frosé and maybe it had vodka too
Was
or
it
something
good?
like that. It was good. I thought it was maybe going to be like way too sweet and like disgusting, and I actually like loved it.
I'll say the one drink that I don't think is good, and it's at Sir, which every other drink has been good. They do good cocktails.
Yeah.
That's what you should go to these restaurants for. They're fun.
Yeah.
But the Vanderpump Sangria or whatever that's called at Sir, it is mostly ice, and it's like big frozen chunks of fruit, and you get about, I'd say, a thimbleful of wine.
Sangria is always a scam.
It is.
Like, almost always.
Okay. All right. Well, then maybe she's not doing something so off base from the rest of the world.
Doesn't she bottle the sangria?
Yeah.
I think that's like bottled and sold.
I was just shocked because we got pasta, and I was like, I don't want to eat it, sir. But like my sister was there, and she was hungry.
Yeah.
And it was like, I've never had pasta that tasted like that. It was like, they shouldn't call it
You
pasta.
didn't get the tuna ta-ta?
I think I've had that before too, and it's like so bland. And then the sangria, I was like, damn, Lisa is running a racket here. And I love Lisa, but I think that she is prioritizing the joie de vivre of Sir and not putting an emphasis on food and drink. If she put emphasis on food,
right?
Why not? That would be a slam dunk.
Yeah, I mean, I really do wonder about what's left for Sir and Pump. Because TomTom is still hopping.
Well, the last time I went into Pump, there was just a tumbleweed. No one was in there, and there was a tumbleweed blowing through it.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Pump is the most like forgotten.
Right.
Right? Don't you think?
It's very like what? When did it open? Like 2014 or something like that. They didn't even
put it in the intro of this season. Like they don't honor Pump in any way.
Yeah, it's just like weird. Like I'm like, it was always weird that the restaurants cannibalized each other on that corner.
What was Pump's mission statement?
She said it was something like,
Villa Rosa
it's like
was where
Villa
you take your wife.
Sir's where you take your girlfriend, and
Pump
is where you take your boyfriend.
Okay, all right, okay. And it was supposed to have a little more joie de vivre in terms of energy. It was more chaotic. James DJing, more like club.
Like boys wearing the like tight shirts.
Yeah. Okay. So Pump, and I've only been to Pump once, and it was before my VPR fandom. So I can't even put it in the.
It has like a nice outdoor area, but yeah, it's like they're not different enough of concepts that it makes sense for there to be so many.
And also, does Lisa have it where, like, because I know TomTom isn't open on Monday and Tuesdays, and then obviously Tuesdays at Sir is a coveted night, so she is keeping some business where Monday and Tuesday is Sir. Then Wednesday, okay, I want to go to TomTom. So I think she's doing some of that. And then who knows when Pump's open. It's open one day a week for 4 hours.
Yeah, I wonder maybe it does a good brunch crowd because it's like kind of like an outdoor, like nice area. But
so I was going to ask, when you were at Vanderpump Paris, this is now a VPR establishment, and the news has just struck. What was the reaction from the people, running and screaming in the restaurant?
So, the thing I always wonder is, like, whenever you go to one of these restaurants, you look around and you're like, how into it are all the other people here? Are they like as like brimming with excitement as I am?
I'd say we're in the top 10% of freaks and fans who've watched it more than one time. Yeah. And then there's, I'd say, I don't know what my percentage was, but I'd say 60 to 70% is much more casual, and they're just bravo.
Like, I've heard of that. Let's go in there.
Yeah. Like, I used to watch that, or it's like, I think there's many more casual fans than there are.
Or it's
freaks.
like one person in a group that's like, no, we have to go, and then the other ones are like, fine, whatever. Yeah, which was kind of me, but I asked the bartender, who was really cool and a great. Honestly, I wish I remembered her name because Lisa should like give her a raise. She was great. Like,
that's nice.
She was not only like very like on top of it and helpful, but she was like actively getting us.
What
to
does she look like
more.
So Lisa can identify her and give her a raise or something?
Dark hair. Okay. I think it was like in a ponytail. I have a photo of her. Maybe I'll post it somewhere. But we started out, the main reason we went is they have a tower of shots that's on an Eiffel Tower that has 12 shots on it around the edge.
Oh my God.
It has
This sounds like such an amazing place.
Honestly, I think it's her best work. Like, the aesthetic aligns perfectly for what she's going for.
And it sounds like she's had all of this power. People know that she's a mainstay of restaurants now, and they gave her everything.
Yeah, like she got to like go like to the hilt with like her.
Cocktail Garden was like an addendum. It took over some other space. Right. And it was like a trial period, and now it's like.
No, this was like she had a budget. It's like dripping with all of the Nicolene like chandeliers everywhere. Yeah. There's like roses floating. There's like bird cages. It's like, that
you know
gothic
that
romance look.
Lisa rarely calls people geniuses, but she says it for Nick Lane. Did you know that?
She's obsessed with him, like obsessed.
She also said she's sexually attracted to him.
I mean,
but I do want to say a little caveat or just a note that Lisa, I know if she listens to this and when she listens to this, it's not a slight against your food. I know your food isn't great. For people who are fans who want to come in, I think it would be good to just upgrade that food by 10 to 20% so that people don't leave being like, the food was horrible, but I had a great time.
right.
Anyway,
Yeah.
It's constructive criticism. We love Lisa.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Honestly, even the food at Schwartz and Sandy's is pretty good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I just had it last night.
Like the lobster hot dog or
Yeah,
corn dog is really good.
There was one thing they need to switch up. It was these mushroom beignets or whatever. I was like,
they're giving goat cheese balls.
They're giving
It's
goat
like
cheese
the
balls.
same recipe for like the outside.
For the crust. Yeah. I was like, you guys need to change something that's going on inside of that beignet. But the lobster corn dogs were great. The sliders were great.
Yeah.
The drinks are great.
The Lucy Juicy sliders.
Yeah, the Lucy Juicy. I mean, I think what I was going to say before you get back to your Vanderpump Paris experience is that I think Tom Schwartz and Tom Sandoval asked Lisa, can the food be a little better at TomTom? Don't you think? Like, can we not use the same supplier? Yeah. And can we have a different
It's definitely
chef?
a little better, but still not. Again, you're not going there for the food.
Yeah.
Like, they had impossible sliders at TomTom, and they were totally fine. They were serviceable.
The first time I got those, I was not stoked on them.
It kind of feels like I made these like at home, like White Castle burgers.
And every food item is optimized to yield high profit versus low return.
Yeah.
Or whatever. It's you can see Lisa and Ken calculating each bite per dollar.
Right.
And unfortunately it makes the food suffer.
Yeah.
They're trying to, rake it in as much as possible.
Yeah.
And they can't even, and then Villa Rosa for some reason, who knows what the food at Villa Rosa tasted like, but that couldn't even survive, even when they're raking in as much money as they possibly could.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah. I know. It's weird.
But back to Lisa, it's called Vanderpump Paris?
Or La Paris? I believe it's La Paris or like A Paris.
Vanderpump La Paris.
Yeah.
Which means Vanderpump the Paris. Right? Why won't Siri work? Hey Siri? Hey Siri. That's what she's called, right? Hey Siri. Anyway, okay, we'll get to the bottom of this. But I think it might Vanderpump La Paris.
I think so.
Because she has to put Vanderpump in it, and maybe it's just the Paris version of the restaurant.
So yeah, our bartender was fantastic. We got the Eiffel Tower of shots.
How many shots? It's 12?
I think it was 12, and we got two different kinds. There was like a blueberry one and then like a pink one, and it was like every other one. So it was like 6 and 6.
How do they balance them?
They're on a little ring.
Okay.
So they just like prop right in there.
So each shot is in a ring.
Yeah.
And then they're arranged 12 up to the...
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Which I had seen on Instagram, and I was like, we're absolutely doing this.
Okay.
I think it was like $125. Because
125 and 12 shots.
Yeah.
So whatever the math is on that.
Yeah. It was like $10 a
shot.
pop, But, we split it. It's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
But, yeah, everyone seemed to enjoy their cocktails. And then out of the corner of my eye, I saw Oliver was working. His last name's not technically Bouvet, but I'll call him Oliver Bouvet.
And you know him from Beverly Hills. I know him from Beverly Hills.
Yeah. So I definitely recognize him. He has, the tattoos to signify.
Yeah.
And I noticed that someone had asked him for a photo. So once I saw that someone had asked him for a photo, I felt obliged to do the same.
And he is probably primed to take photos.
This
is a new...
He did not mind.
Good.
He was like, I saw him walking, he was going to walk past us, and I got his attention. And then at first, I think he just thought I was like saying hello, and then I had to be like, no, seriously, I need a photo.
Yeah.
So I got a photo with him.
And it's a good photo.
It's pretty good. It has a little blur to it, like you were saying about the
do you have the iPhone 13?
I think mine is an 11. It's even older.
I don't know what the hell that update did to their phones, but anyway.
Yeah, but it's good enough.
Good.
And we were like, congratulations for your episode coming next week, because we had seen the preview that he was going to be on the next week's episode, which was on last night. And he seemed excited about it.
But is the drama, I don't think it's a spoiler for people who are in the know, is the drama that he told Raquel and Lala he was separated and he actually wasn't? Or is that not even true? Because Lisa defended him on Watch What Happens Live last night. So
right.
that can't be true.
Well, the weird thing, not to pop to the new episode, but when Lala asked if he's separated, he said, "Are you still with your wife?" And he said, "No, we're separated." And they talk about their kids, and she says, "How many kids do you have? You have 3 kids?" And he goes, "I have 1."
Yeah.
He's 2 or whatever. And I'm like, if I remember correctly, he like raised his wife's kids for many years as like his stepkids. And I'm like, that's so rude to like not claim them.
Maybe he was, I don't know. That looked like a very loud, chaotic night. Also, Raquel was being very chaotic watching that scene. I was like, what is Raquel doing here? I was like, who knows what he thought or what she said? I mean, I don't know. I don't know enough about that story, but I just think I just heard that Raquel was maybe implicated in like a cheating scandal, but I don't think that's the case
because clearly like
another cheating scandal.
Right. I was like, he seemed to be excited about the episode. He promoted the new episode on Instagram. Like he said, watch me on the new episode of Vanderpump Rules. So this might be
an instance where they teased out a little drama from it, and then we're going to just find out that everything was above board.
Right. I mean, the way that it played out on the episode when, not to skip ahead, but like when him and Raquel are making out on the dance floor, it's the most like, it's as staged as it gets.
I guess I think, I don't know if we should just talk about the episode because it's like we're getting there already. But like, first of all, I don't know if it's because I'm so overstimulated by all this Vanderpump Rules news, but I gave the last 4 episodes, I was like, they're masterpieces. Like, we're fully back. Like, this is amazing. I can't believe the era. And then my expectations were so high, and then I just sat there watching last night's episode after going to Schwartz and Sandy's. I was like, this is so boring. Like, I thought it was such a boring, bad
episode.
It could
never live up.
It can't live up, but also it's just like, I guess you're right. They need like a placeholder episode, but like the girls' trip seems so inorganic. They're immediately at a Lisa restaurant advertising her drinks, like, just like we did today. And I was just like, what was the reason for this trip? It's for Katie to get her groove back or whatever.
Katie's literally like, I think this is Lisa's best restaurant yet. Yeah. Which I also said.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, it's good. This is organic, but I can't help but think that Lisa flew them all out. They're advertising, obviously. The trip seemed inorganic. They also don't seem to be having a lot of fun, at least yet. And I know, which the reason is like that very traumatic Ariana moment, which we talked about a little bit, but it's like, maybe you can't have fun knowing that your friend is like that. Like the mood seemed a little dampened. Yes. Mm-hmm. And then those 4, Katie, Raquel, Lala, and who else was there? Lala, Raquel, Katie. Is it just them 3? No, there has to be someone else. And then Lisa was there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Christina Kelly.
Oh, right.
They, for some reason, I just feel like they weren't bringing, the energy. But maybe they were impacted by Ariana leaving, and who knows. But I don't know. That was a bummer episode to me. I don't know. How did you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, it was exciting at the beginning when it pops open with Raquel and Ariana together, because you just immediately scream when they're hanging out.
Yes.
And she goes, Ariana's like, when all that stuff happened with Schwartz, I was like, am I about to be mad at you for the first time ever? And, that felt like a little Easter egg. I don't know how they could have had time to make any changes to the episode.
I don't think they did. And also, I think that it makes total sense that Ariana would potentially be mad at Raquel and say everything she said in the interview at her, just for her position and how she's acting towards Schwartz. It's like, unforgivable.
Lest we forget that, like, everything's going to seem, like, pointed now based on the new information we have. But, like, Raquel, the reason why this scandal is so crazy is because she is the main theme of the season so far.
Yeah, it was all about Raquel post James and what she was doing with her single life and her decisions. And we had heard the, Schwartz and her kissing or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, what were you going to say? I was just saying, like, now it's like it did affect my enjoyment because I'm not buying that any of this is like actually going on. Hey, Archie. Yeah. So
he's upset.
Yeah. So I mean, once we started talking about Raquel, it was
like, and then we cut to, I didn't realize this is getting into like internet conspiracy theory, but with the dog, Graham the dog injury of it all, there's an internet theory that because she had her whole weird story about
made no
getting
sense.
caught in a fence.
Wait. At first she said we boarded him, and then he got out through a fence. I was like, what boarding company was that? That's the one thing they would never allow.
Right.
They would be sued.
Right.
They wouldn't exist anymore.
No.
Your dog got out, got a puncture wound on the neck, and like that.
And she didn't take him to the vet still for like many days.
It also didn't look like barbed wire or whatever. It would look like a bite.
It looked like a dog bite,
Yeah.
and the internet thinks. I was confused about this because I didn't even realize that Sandoval and Ariana had another dog besides their sweet old gal.
They don't show it.
But on this episode, they show. I think the dog is named Maya, who appears to be some sort of like a pity mix or something, like a big dog.
Okay.
Where you're like, I could see it if like
so
they
Maya
were shuffling
bit
their dogs
Graham.
around. Yeah. Like I'm like, they were probably like. She came to his house or like he came to her house. He was probably like, I'm walking the dog or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and also she was staying with them, right? So they could
it
could have just been an innocent dog interaction.
Right.
Well, now we
In
know
which
nothing
case,
is
why
innocent.
would you lie then?
Because she didn't want to talk about that maybe on the show she didn't want to mention that she had been living with Ariana and Tom for a time because of all of this stuff. So it could have been an innocent dog bite, but I just knew her story was garbage.
Totally.
James bought it hook, line, and sinker.
He didn't ask any questions.
He goes... Well,
he just started
says
crying.
in the British accent. He started crying immediately, which I totally understand. I loved him for that. But
I almost cried.
Yeah, yeah, it was so sad. But dogs don't escape from their boarding cages and get puncture wounds and then get out and then like that would be the biggest thing in the world.
Honestly, the way she was talking about that is the way Raquel talks about everything, which makes me feel like I'm not saying this actually, but she gives off like pills, like she's on pills.
Well, there has to be some excuse for her behavior, and I want to say the two things that I keep thinking about Raquel. First off, if she continues to try to kiss Tom Schwartz after he said, "Please no, it would hurt Katie. I really don't want to do it." It's like almost like I could potentially if I'm really drunk, obviously, but I don't want to do that to Katie. It's like he said no, kind of. I mean, he said no.
Right.
And I'm not saying maybe he gives consent later, but he said no to her once.
Yeah.
Katie cried such endearing tears of sadness saying, "Please don't kiss Schwartz. I want to have fun this summer. I don't want my friend or someone I consider even a sort of a friend, a cast member, to kiss my husband." Raquel heard that. And then Katie's mom cries to her and says, "This is just horrible. Please."
Did you notice that her mom calls Schwartz Tommy?
No, that is so sweet.
She was like, I forget what she said about him, but she's like moving out of her house with Tommy.
Yes. And it's like Tom, and then Katie says something I was like barely watching because I was drunk from Schwartz and Sandy's, but the way Katie's mom said, like, he's our family. And Katie said, it's like, how in the world is Raquel still going to try to kiss Schwartz?
If I were her, I would have been horrified.
I would have made the rest of my season about me getting back in everyone's good graces that I had misunderstood from Sheena that Katie was ready, even though I was told by Katie 10 different times that she doesn't want this.
Yeah.
But now I'm just imagining, because we have seen another peck on the lips from them, right? Unless that's a full... Because there's a screenshot that is going around where it looks like at Sheena's wedding, Raquel and Schwartz kiss. But now, I guess I never knew Raquel. This is so... everything she's done is so far from the person I imagined. Her being on pills, I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. She's on... something, because I don't
something
know,
like off,
unless it's all storyline, which you can't dismiss. Like, she knows she has to have a dramatic storyline. She's probably been told potentially by Sheena and Sandoval, but that this is a great way to get yourself in the mix. Schwartz is single, but still to go after that storyline and be
really
a villain.
Weird. But it's also weird that Sheena's been participating in it so hardcore also.
I think, well, Sheena, I mean, I love her so much, but she is, she's about 3 steps behind in every scenario. She thought she got consent from Katie when Katie could have been wasted out of her mind. So
she's really clinging to that moment so hard.
Even though Katie says, now it will hurt me. Now this will hurt me. This will hurt me.
She's like, to clarify.
Yes. And it's like, Sheena, so no more. Like, and then Sheena will be like, I know that now, but even though I did. But anyway, I can't imagine the mindset of Raquel doing this unless it's just full blown storyline. But then how is Schwartz involved? Like, did she just he was as drunk as he's ever been, and she kissed him on the lips. Was it just a peck?
I mean, he does black out.
He does black out. Is it just a peck to get it out of the way? Like are they teeing up some big kiss, and then it's actually like a silly kiss? But then we see James throw beer or drink all over Schwartz's face, so you know something must happen. I'm just
yeah.
So and then I was also saying, Raquel said so many times this episode, she was like, an idea was planted in my head. She says it like 5 times. It makes me think Raquel's brain is like, idea.
Yeah.
And it's like one idea lives there for days.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then an idea goes.
She's like, she put the idea in my head and then it kind of just stayed.
Yeah, it's like, yes. Ideas come.
But everyone's buying into that theory. Christina Kelly was the first one to be like, what are you talking about?
Yes, that was great.
Like, Katie was like, Sheena's at fault because she put the idea in her head. And I'm like...
And Raquel is running with it. Like you just said, Raquel is just saying, like, I had an idea implanted in my head by Sheena, and that idea will never go out of my head until another...
An idea is like an infectious disease, and she has no immune system.
Which I don't ever want to say this, but I did think Raquel was unintelligent.
You think she's DNS?
I thought she was DNS, but I also blamed it on being a nervous speaker,
yes.
which I could totally imagine. If I was on camera on Bravo, I wouldn't be able to croak out a word.
Right.
I would be going,
She can't keep up with the big dogs.
No, she and I just thought, okay, bad on camera does not mean you're dumb.
Right.
It doesn't. It means she's nervous. She's a bad public speaker and she's nervous. But now I just can't help thinking there were signs that Raquel does. Do you think she's a D or an S?
I think she's DNS and can't keep up with the big dogs.
And these are big dogs that she's playing with. Lala, I rewatched season 7.
Rottweiler.
Lala, which on rewatch now that I still have problems with Lala, but she is so entertaining. That scene where she screams at Raquel and then screams at Billy is like one of the most iconic scenes of all time. She is just so... Rage is just so activated in her, and everything she says is so funny and concise. And, like, she's just
and James were quite a pair for a while there.
Oh yeah. Sorry. So I was just saying that Raquel came into a very charismatic, high energy, very performative, good on camera crew.
Right.
And she stands out like a bump on a log.
Totally. And she never had to really say anything for a long time because James did all the talking for her first few years.
And she was just like, don't blame me for that. Don't blame me. It's, And like you had to feel bad for her because you're like, she's wrapped up in like James's bullshit. Like, whatever. Like you have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she has to like deal with him and all of this. And now it's just like, honey, like you stepped up to the plate, like you gotta, I feel like that way a lot with housewives sometimes where like women will try and start drama or like, and then when they get like smacked down for starting something, they can't handle it. And I'm like, well, like if you're gonna start it, you gotta be able to, run with it. Well, there are people on all Bravo franchises that they are just organically great television where even if they're wrong or when they're right, they can charm you. They're so great at speaking. Lisa is the quintessential example. And there are people that are duds that can't bring it and they get a second season and they think that their power and energy has to come from manufacturing storylines and you can just tell. But with the Vanderpump Rules cast, they are all so organically good at the show and fun to watch and do and say so many things that are just inherently dramatic that I think that's why the show works so well. It's one of the best casts ever in reality TV that has lasted for 10 years. But New York was a great example, but it's like they captured lightning in a bottle. Like who the hell could have imagined that cast? Yeah.
No, I mean, Andy Cohen was talking about it on his radio show, just saying like Lisa like wouldn't shut up about what she had at the
she
restaurant.
was right.
Yeah.
She was so right.
And he was like, it's like a self-feeding organism. Like they just like will never stop like having sex with each other and like starting new drama over and over and over again.
And I was saying that like they thought that this Vanderpump Rules cast was going to get boring once they got into their houses and they started getting married and they did that horrendous transition to the new cast, which you can't even like. I think they need to re-edit that season and just cut out all.
Yeah, director's cut.
Director's cut, slimmed down version.
I told you when I rewatched like a month ago, when I got there, I skipped every scene with a new person.
Oh my!
I was like, absolutely not.
The way they put Max and Brett down our throats,
awful.
and Dana, I was just like,
nightmare.
Get me out of here. So then, but I'm saying now we're entering like an early Housewives season with this franchise. When we see Housewives, they are set, they're secure, they get on the show. Drama is propelled, then they get in divorces, then there's cheating. We're in an early Housewives incarnation.
Right.
Vanderpump Rules can't stop.
Right.
We've already seen that the golden years of a TV show can be in your 40s and 50s.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This show can't stop.
Yeah.
The cast can't leave.
Right. I know. I mean, it's looking like Kristen will be coming back.
Oh, she's back. I saw a definitive picture. You saw it too.
Yeah.
Kristen standing right in front of a big, beautiful black camera. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kristen is back, and she's getting horrific, evil hate about her body from fans. If you're doing that, you're evil.
Like,
you need to stop.
We need her more than ever.
Yeah, and you're going to try to even affect her perception of herself at a time when we need her the most after she's been gone for so long. I just think it's horrible.
No, she's truly like the kingpin of this scenario because she is the tie to
she's everything.
Sandoval's infidelity of the past.
She's the tie to Ariana. She has this organic, beautiful friendship that blossomed with Ariana.
Yeah.
She knows James, so she gets to not
she's
be
the
sympathetic
reason
to James.
for James.
She's the. I mean, I said it in a TikTok, so forgive me, all my wonderful TikTok fans, but she is the fuel that lit the VPR fire and made it one of the most iconic shows.
She's like the Olympic flame.
She's so pivotal. It's Stassi and Jax. They are the Adam and Eve, and then Kristen just weaved so much beautiful drama for 7, 8 seasons. I mean, Kristen is still so fun to watch in season 7 and 8. The reptilian brain stuff, like she is just firing on all cylinders the entire time.
I wish that it's funny that Lisa continues to feud with her.
Up until
yesterday,
up until 8 hours ago, Lisa definitively says, "I do not like Kristen."
She basically said what James said when Lala asked if they were still friends. She was like, nah.
Yeah. She goes, I forget even what she said. You know my answer. No.
Yeah.
It's like the longest feud in history. She hates Kristen.
But she must know that, like, she's so, like, imperative to the show.
One of my favorite moments ever is on Beverly Hills during the reunion, and Brandy brings up Kristen, or someone brings up Kristen for some reason at a reunion, and Lisa just goes, "I don't care for Kristen." I'm like, that is so funny. She can't not say she doesn't like Kristen.
Yeah.
Anytime she gets asked
when she doesn't let her come to the Daily Mail party at TomTom.
And then is that the one where that's when Kristen has to just sit at home eating pasta by herself
in
with
the
her
bed?
dog?
Yeah.
So sad. And then I have to just say that I listened to Kristen's podcast with SE Cup today, which if you need to, did you listen to it?
I listened to the soundbite about our experience.
It is so good. Kristen could not be more naturally good at podcasting, have such a unique, fresh perspective on the situation. She reveals so much great insiders information because she hasn't been locked down by a Bravo NDA yet because she's not a cast member. She says the full timeline, which we just verified. Yeah. And also, it's just Kristen is in such a good headspace now. Like, she's been to years of therapy. She sounded so smart, eloquent. SE Cup and her are like legitimate like friends.
Oh, wow.
Like I don't know. Anyway, it was just a very interesting podcast. I think everyone should listen to it.
Yeah, I gotta listen to the full thing. But yeah, I was disappointed. I listened to Stassi's podcast that came out, I think, on like their.
I listened as well.
Tuesday?
I also thought that was. I loved her perspective on it. How did you feel?
Yeah, it was really interesting. Although I am disappointed that she really does seem to have moved on with her life. Like, I don't think there's a chance in hell she would come back.
I'm thinking friend of. I'm thinking you pay her $1 million for a season. You say you were a friend of, and you don't have to have your home life on camera.
Do you think that Bravo would ever cough up that much cash for a friend of?
For Stassi.
I think they're cheap. I think they're
I know they're cheap. But
Like, what's the most we think a housewife has? I don't know that anyone has.
Is Teresa the highest paid housewife? Or
does she get $1 million a season?
We looked it up because I completely overinflated how much she got, and then I looked it up, and it was like $1 million per season. Which, if there's 20 episodes,
and she's like the lead of the franchise.
Okay,
and the oldest OG.
You give Stassi her rate for if she had been on the show for those 2 seasons because they fired her.
Yeah.
That makes it like sort of like you can come back, and it's like no time has passed.
Right.
And then we say, we know that you're in a healthy space with your daughter and Beau, and we don't want this to affect your family life, so you get to just come in when you want and film when you want. I think Stassi could come back.
I mean, that would be glorious if the witches could have a scene together. Like, I would love if she would give that to us. And she seemed to be so against it.
And then she really did. I loved her quote that this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in the Bravo universe. I was like, put that on all of your marketing materials. Stassi says this is the biggest thing that's ever happened in the Bravo universe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, outside of, I think that the jail stuff is high, but that didn't happen as quickly.
Yes.
Like with like Teresa and Jen Shaw, like we had like months and years.
I would always consider
a
crime to be bigger than cheating or whatever. But I think in terms of like the impact of this and where
I don't think there's ever been a bigger bombshell that's like permeated through.
And a bombshell completely blindsided bombshell. Like,
totally.
We have
there was no like blind items.
No.
Like it wasn't on like
that Tom Coachella thing.
Right. And like Dumois said, I didn't post this out of respect to Ariana. And I'm like, you should be disbarred.
I thought
like,
the
that's
same
your
thing.
Whole
what the
job.
hell? What the hell are you doing? Put these up. Let Ariana see them, and not do more pivotal events with Tom Sandoval in her life where he's cheating on her.
Like,
don't out of respect for her.
I'm like, since when do you have respect for your subjects?
I think that's
Bullshit.
we heard rumors of this, but out of caution, we didn't say this. Yeah, right. You're just wanting to say that you had a scoop first that you didn't have, and you just want to be, in hindsight, look like you had it. You didn't have it, or you would have done it. You would have been the catalyst for the biggest scandal in Bravo history. If you would have
invented Facebook, you would have invented Facebook.
Yeah, exactly. Don't take credit for that. You didn't know at all what you were looking at. You thought Tom Schwartz. Or something.
Right. I really don't think that anyone knew at all. Like,
no.
I think Schwartz. I think there was. I read somewhere, he found out like a month ago or something, which I buy. Like, I think he got a heads up, but I don't think he knew for very
I'm a
long.
Schwartz stan. I can't help it. I mean, I don't know what to say. He's been so nice to me personally. I don't want it to be true that he's known for 7 months. I think.
No, I don't think he knew the whole time, but like.
1 month is long.
Yeah. I mean, that like bled into all of their like promo for this season. So that's why it was so awkward on like Watch What Happens Live and like all of the interviews they've done.
He didn't know how to say Raquel related updates without seeking approval from Sandoval.
Right.
And that appearance was really awkward. I was like, have these guys ever been on television before? I thought they do Watch What Happens Live 20 times.
Right.
They were like,
no, they're usually like fancy free.
Sandoval looked like, they were just so boring up
right.
there. Yeah. So
no, we
awkward
were like,
chemistry.
Because was that the premiere Watch What Happens Live? I think it was like the first.
Well, because it's
episode.
on a Wednesday. Yeah. So
I think it was the first one.
They were the premiere.
And I was like, I thought, honestly, I remember being like, I think they're hungover or something because like
Tom Sandoval looked hungover. He looked
weird.
I think Tom Sandoval is on drugs too. I mean, allegedly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. What's that? I don't want any libelous accusations.
Yeah, allegedly.
I allegedly think. I have to hope that Sandoval is just like fully on drugs and his brain it can't even. I mean, that's giving him an excuse.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely the whole thing is giving midlife crisis, like with his band, and like his outfits are becoming more and more flamboyant. He's like rocking the nail polish all the time.
He has, I don't even know if this is still phrased anymore, but he has main character syndrome so bad that the world has aligned itself to Tom Sandoval. Everything he thought about himself has now been realized.
Right.
He's like, I got famous just like I wanted. I am so famous. Now I'm a musician. Now I'm the main character of the reality show. Like everything is about me. Now I own 2 bars.
Right.
Like it was too much for him. His hubris, he flew too close to the sun.
Yeah, which now it's like, as we've discussed, like I always defended the Toms. Like
me
whenever
too.
like
They're my
Stassi
number 1 and number 2.
hated him, or when whenever Jax and Brittany hated him, I was always like, you guys are dicks. Like, he's like a great friend. Like, he's a nice guy.
Oh, when he got all those vodka bottles for Jax at his wedding, and he was so sweet to him, and Jax just goes, yeah, he still sucks as a best man.
Yeah, he's like B- or something like that. I'm like, so rude.
Yeah. Well, I love on Vanderpump Rules when I love every cast member and they have drama with each other, and I just get to choose how I feel about it. I'm not so one-sided. Like when Stassi has beef with Sandoval, I'm like, I love you both.
Yeah.
Like, I like seeing you guys fight because you guys are fighting from two places that I think is right. You know what I mean? It's like that is what makes the drama so good.
Yeah.
So, I was just going to say that also in that Stassi interview, I think another highlight for me was when her friend asked, like, do you think any aspect of this is fake, which is a huge part of this. It's like we're watching a reality show, and Stassi just said, Stassi's a truthful person, say what you will about her, like she's truthful, and she doesn't have any reason to lie now. She says this is 100% true. She's talked with the producers. She knows the drama is real. Like, I respect that opinion so much. I think you have to know now that this is a real thing happening. Right,
and I felt that way already because of what we saw, being that it wasn't being filmed, and I'm like, if they knew anything about any of this, they would have been filming that night.
Yeah, even if we would have seen, and I almost would have expected them to film just for the fun of that night. But yeah, they didn't. It was a cameras down moment. That was a light night for them. That was nothing to them, and it ended up being the impetus for the biggest scandal.
Man, the world is reeling.
I mean, we're reeling. This is insane. I thought I was so. Like I'm like we can wind down because it's been so long. We've talked the length of a movie, but I was really let down by Lisa's appearance on Watch What Happens Live. I couldn't have built that up more in my head. I was like, this is gonna.
What did you think she was gonna like?
I thought that her and I really, for some reason, I thought Andy and her would kind of throw away the format of Watch What Happens Live and
you
sort
thought
of
it was gonna really be a one-on-one, like
I thought a
21
moment. minute. I thought 21 minute. Darkened room. He's still in the clubhouse or whatever, but he would just be asking her questions. No fan questions, no questions from the audience.
Like the Teresa one-on-one.
I really,
Luann.
I mean, I think he should have done. I mean, I think he should have done that. I think that it should have been what Andy wants to ask Lisa, not what dumb fans like me would ask her.
Right.
Because we don't know as much as Andy knows. I wanted to hear two heavyweights go back and forth.
Totally.
And I think Lisa also, this is like, I don't know if this is mean or not, but I think she drank one.
Oh, man.
One
she was litty.
She was like.
By the time she came in, she was already lit.
She was like, of course Sheena slapped that girl. Like, she was just like saying accusations, like the illegal accusations.
She was cursing.
Sheena. She was cursing. She said horrible things about, which, she was talking about Rinna and Kyle, which I'm on Lisa's side, but she was really going in. She was like, I never trusted Sandoval. Like, she was
even
saying,
Andy was like, yikes, when she said that about Sandoval. Like,
yeah, she was being very frank. She also had that pre-written playing with Peter, snorking with whatever she said. She had this whole thing pre-planned.
Yeah,
she could like barely
Peter
get
Pond.
Out. She was dipping in the Peter Pond, and then what's the British word? Snogging Sandoval, and then sleeping with Schwartz, and it was like, okay, Lisa, that was pre-planned. It didn't. She lost a little bit of the Lisa spark because I think she was either nervous or too drunk. I was kind of.
That reminded me. I meant to write down her little jig about her grandson.
I know it.
Stinky for Nanny Pinky.
I wanted to say it at the top of the episode. I wanted to say it first. And just so you guys all remember, if you make a stinky, it's not for Nana Pinky. If there's something in your tummy, save it for Mummy. And guys, if there's a stinky, it is not for Nana Pinky. That was a highlight of the episode. That was so funny that she had already thought of a rhyme.
Yeah.
That she already says it actively to her grandson Teddy, and it was just perfect.
Teddy paws.
Yeah, that was so fun.
It was so cute watching because Ken is so like low energy always. To see him.
Well, his energy. Oh yeah.
For the baby was really
the moments,
sweet.
I love the moments where you see a spark and he opens his mouth and he opens his eyes because he is
weekend at Bernie's all day.
He is sincerely like he does not give it up a lot, and I love
tweet. I forget who said it, but someone was like, somewhere right now, Ken is asking Lisa, which one is Raquel?
Yeah, probably one of the most iconic tweets, memes from this whole thing. It's true. Ken has no clue what is going on, and I'm not saying he's old. I'm saying this is too much.
Disinterested.
this is too much for him to keep track of.
Although he seems like truly engaged around the conversation of whether they should bail out Schwartz and Sandy's.
But
he wants to blow the $300K. Like, he's like, okay.
Yeah, but I also was like, that was the worst deal in history. I was so stoked for that thing because I was like, oh my God, are they going to buy out Schwartz and Sandy's? And then they're working with Lisa and Greg gets kicked to the curb. But then they're like, you can get your $50,000
with
back.
No appreciation.
And you lose your 5%, and there's no appreciation, and then you have $100,000 if you need that.
When their rent is $20,000 a month, so it'll last them like no time.
And then we'll let you buy back in if you need to in a year. I was like, that's the deal you're offering? That was horrendous.
They're basically offering them like an interest-free loan.
But don't they lose their stake in TomTom?
They have a year to get it.
So it's just
back.
Basically to get $100,000 liquid.
They're basically like risking that cash if they can't plan to pay it back in a year.
But it reminded me of just the double or nothing thing that they did, with, in the last season when they were like, "Do you want to invest more into TomTom
in
Garden?"
the garden?
It's like, yeah. I was so stoked on that plot line, and then it was like such a dud. It was like
right. So aren't they technically in for 100 at this point? Then
100 on TomTom.
Yeah.
Yes, because I think it was 50,000 total for 5% each. I don't remember
because they started at 50 each, but then then they put
50 for 5% each.
Then they had to reinvest for the garden.
Who knows? That's just what they say in the show. I bet it's. First of all, they have way more money, or they did, than we think about. But I think it's probably they have 100,000. They each have 10%. I mean, if they don't, what the hell? Like,
Tom Sandoval was pissed about. He said that I don't think that's fair about Lisa's offer.
Which he's right.
Which is fair enough, but they keep proving themselves to be completely inept.
Yes. Well, yes, exactly. It's like when Lisa was saying, you should have shown the contract to me. I was like, yes, you should have. Like, Lisa knows. Like, they have done this so many times.
The difference, when I went to Vanderpump La Paris, I was like, this is a well-oiled machine here. Like, this is an operation. Like, it's like, there are details. Like,
I really want to go
there's, like I said, the Eiffel Tower shots. There was the birthday drink with the macaroon. There was a drink that was inside it was like the Louvre pyramid that inside it was smoking, and then they took the glass pyramid off.
My God.
I'm like, Sandoval could never. Like, he was talking a big game about his like magician drinks and all this stuff, but then push comes to shove, you go to Schwartz and Sandy's, you're getting a glass of wine, you're getting like there's like 4 cocktails.
Besides the beautiful James Turrell toilet and besides that waterfall thing, there is not a lot going.
I keep saying they're calling it your future fantasy, like they're like acid trip, like blah blah blah, dive bar. I'm like, it's giving hotel lobby bar.
It is.
There's nothing whimsical outside of the wallpaper.
It's also not divey in any way, shape, or form. It's the exact opposite.
All.
You don't feel comfortable there. You're like, ooh, I don't want to touch anything.
The bar seats like 8 people.
I hate how separated all the booths are. The booths are like big protective things that only 6 people can sit at, and they're all far away from each other, and then no one wants to roam in the areas around the booths. It feels just not like a fun, vibrant spot. It feels like
why isn't there a dance floor?
I have no clue.
Why isn't there a jukebox?
I know
why isn't there a photo booth?
I know why. This is real, and they can. when Schwartz listens to this, if he wants to dispute it, he completely can. But they are using Lisa's tactics of maximizing money and decreasing fun or whatever does not get you money, because the booths are there so that it prioritizes big spending, so that you sit in a booth with your friends and they deliver you as many cocktails as you can stomach. They don't want you to just sit there with one White Claw. It makes you think you have to go big or go home.
And by the way, they will kick you out because I've reached the limit of the booth, and they do say that they have people waiting for a table.
What's the limit? Like an hour?
I think it's like, it might have been 2 hours, either hour and a half or 2 hours.
They didn't have good beers. They wanted to stigmatize beer drinkers, so I had to drink a Coors Light at this insanely fancy bar. I was like, okay, you have Coors Light and whatever, like Michelob Ultra. I was like, these are garbage beers. You guys like beers.
Why don't they have beer on tap?
Now they do.
Okay.
I just got a Mama's Yellow Pills last night, which is an amazing Pilsner. So they are allowing people to drink beers. But at first I was like, Lisa doesn't want people to drink beers.
No.
They're $6, they're $7. People get drunk on them. They don't order $18 cocktails.
Right.
So I think that they are unfortunately using Lisa's tactics of small portions. Everything is so expensive. Stigmatize beers. Keep people in their booths, and that is so against the Shorts and Sandy's aesthetic that we came to know or expect.
Yeah.
From. They're talking about they need to get those booths out of there. Get standing tables. Get a dance floor, like you said. Make it more of one
community,
big, communal spot that people can interact with people.
That's the whole point of a dive.
That's the whole point. That's what bars are traditionally like. It's more communal. It's more fun. You bump up against people. Like, don't get rid of this booth aspect. I think that would help. I think
that, like, first of all, the bar needs to hold 3 times more people.
Yes.
Like, you can't, like, it sounds like yesterday you guys just rolled up to the bar, but you got there when they opened.
Yeah, if we wouldn't have gotten there when it opened, we would not have gotten a seat at the bar. And then when you are not at a booth and you're not at the bar, it is so awkward. You have to, like, stand by the bathrooms or on the other side of the bar. Or that, like, unused
DJ roller cart.
Yes, right there. And you do not want to stand in front of people's booths because you'll be the only one standing in front of somebody's booth.
It's so much wasted space.
So
they needed Nickel Lane.
And they need Nickel Lane. This isn't disparaging. I'm just saying that they did not capture the essence of what they told us. And I think that they're new to this business, and these are changes that they could implement, and I think it would do them a world of good. Embrace the area you're in, the hip, fun area.
Right.
Go to a bar that's really cool. Like we said, Club TG.
Yeah.
Go to TG, see what they're doing, and then make your Shorts and Sandy's version of that. I love that we're just giving advice for 10 minutes.
But, like, he's obsessed. Scandoval's obsessed with his band, and there's no live music.
Yeah.
Like,
the music is, I like all the songs, but it's very generic. It's just like 80s rock playlist or whatever.
Yeah.
There's no. It was like dark in there when we got there. The staff was like bummed out. I think because they're like being.
They're probably being harassed.
Yeah, they're being harassed. Like, people are spray painting, like, fuck Tom in the bathrooms and stuff. Like, I guess it's probably dark there, but business was booming.
Yeah.
This is not, Shorts and Sandy's is not suffering from the scandal. If anything, it made me race over there as fast as I could.
But it is the kind of place, I've been 3 times, and, like, if you don't have a reservation, you need to be worried because
you will not sit at the bar.
Like, at, like, Sir or, like, TomTom. I mean, you probably would want a reservation there too, but the bar,
you could cling by the bar.
The bar is so huge that you could just kind of like mill around.
You don't even need a seat. You could just stand by the bar at TomTom, and no one would look at you.
Which, like,
weird.
is how it is at a dive bar. You kind of just like stand around.
But they have the lounge area so separated from the bar area that it's like there's sitters and there's standers, and you're completely cramped if you're a stander, just hanging out by the bar.
Also, as a woman, I will complain that Shorts and Sandy's does not have hooks under the bar for your purse, which LVP would never allow.
I actually think that when was the last time you went?
Maybe like 3 weeks ago. They at least don't have them on the bar seats behind the bar.
I think they got them on the bar.
Okay.
I think because I remember I looked down and I think my wife Megan's purse was hanging on a hook.
Okay.
So, but I don't know. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if they don't do that on the other side, they need to.
Which is like worst seat in the house, the like non-bar bar seats.
Because you're hovering over the booth people.
Yeah, you look down on them.
There's little holes cut out to where you honestly have to look at people in front of you eating and having a meal. It's, oh, guys, come on.
Yeah, if they didn't do the booths, they could have like had like 12 round top tables in there.
I think tall, beautiful round tops with 4 plush green or turquoise plush seats.
Yeah.
That get taken by first come first serve, and you can kind of stand around. Like, it would have the same impact. People would still buy bottles. People would still buy fancy cocktails. It's just booths are very I don't even know the right word. They make people separated from people, and it limits the amount of active space people want to enjoy. Like, I took a video of me wandering around trying to find Tom Schwartz or whatever. There's only one little like lane that a person can go, and you're just surrounded by people sitting. I don't know. I mean, I guess that's a lounge.
They should rethink it. Yeah, I
mean, and these, obviously, if they want to bring us in and we could provide these, because we have way more ideas than this. This is just this is what we're giving away for free.
Don't even get me started.
This is what we give away for free. Schwartz and Sandy's, or actually, I don't know if we would help Scandoval at this point, but Schwartz, depending on what he knew.
Yeah, if they turn this into Schwartz and Pandies,
Yes,
like they were
exactly.
saying.
Yeah, that was really fun. So do you think, did we cover everything?
I mean, if we kept going, we would never stop. There's no way to cover everything.
And I think that maybe we give it a couple more days, see what accrues, see what we missed, and then we'll be back to talk another hour and a half because we're in the middle of a season. There's drama happening every day. Sheena hasn't even posted her vlog from New York yet, which she said is coming on her Patreon.
Yeah, we're going to have to pay for that, huh?
We already did. So $5 for the month. So hopefully the update comes within a month before we have to cancel. But anyway, I think we did good. How do you feel about this conversation?
I feel good. I mean, I feel cleansed. I am curious if anyone's going to make it this far, but we'll see.
I can't imagine. I mean, obviously, I think some of the VIPs like Lisa and Schwartz, they're gonna obviously want to hear what we're saying, but no, the casual fan has
dropped off like 2 hours ago.
But thank you. I mean, this was good. I didn't have anyone to talk to this in depth, and I feel like maybe other people don't have that ride or die VPR freak that just has all of the information.
Yeah.
Like how we have come to, gain all this knowledge. So thanks so much. We love you so much. And this is the first episode of Turtle Time Pod, and it's going to be every single week for 10 years.
Turtle time.
Turtle time. Okay, we love you, our little turtles. Bye.